just broke the NFL with the biggest contract for a defensive tackle, surpassing one Aaron Donald, which is absolutely insane. He's going to be making $32.5 million a year, signed a 5-year deal, and I think it's $96 million guaranteed. So, yet another stud defensive tackle has been taken off the board. We already lost any hopes of grabbing Justin Matabuke because he got the franchise tag, and now Chris Jones is locked in to our arch rivals, Kansas City Chiefs. Got my boys in the house, Western Conference, Hot Beavers in here. How y'all doing on this Sunday, man? Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man.
Doing great, brother. Thank you, man. It's a pleasure and honor to be here always, brother. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, it's been a wild weekend, right? So Denver traded off their star receiver, Jerry Jeudy. So it looks like to me that they're just doing a complete teardown over there in Denver and rebuild, which I love. I love that because when you do a teardown, it takes 2 to 3 years to build back up. So we're just going to continue to dominate the little donkos, the little unicorns that never could, and just smack them around, man. I'm feeling good about that. And then obviously we do have to worry about the Chiefs. Chris Jones is staying there. Now, L'Jarius Sneed was franchised, but they're open to trading him because they have a difficult situation now with paying Chris Jones so much money that they're going to have to pay other players on their team coming up too. So they've opened the door for him to seek a trade. What do you guys think about that? And do you think there's any chance that they would ever trade with us to bring him over here? Or if they did, should we even do it?
I honestly wouldn't. I mean, if the price was right, yeah, but I think we would have to pay extra just to even try to get him from KC because they're our rivals, and I think that they would raise that tax on us for sure. But yeah, he's a great guy and a great player. I would love to have him on our team, but I just think that the Chiefs would ask for a lot more than other NFL teams from us.
What do you think about that, Hot? Hot, you hear me? I think his audio went out. Hot Beavers, you hear me, brother?
Maybe it might have hit mute on accident, maybe.
It looks like his screen froze.
Or it froze.
Oh no, I'm here.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, something maybe I'm a little bit behind y'all, or a little bit of lag or something. But yeah, as far as Snead, yeah, I agree. The premium would be too much to pay to try to move on him. I feel like with other people out there like Xavier Howard or Dory Jackson, better values. And then just Dory already knows the system. So that's my vote right there because I think he's going to be the kind of player where you don't pay as much, but you get that kind of top level play from him. So
I agree.
And that's what we need this year. I mean, as far as defense goes, in my opinion, the only thing that we're really going to be lacking in is corner and defensive tackle. Yeah. And so if we bring back Adam Butler, and then we got some young guys that we're developing, we really need to go out and get that stud defensive tackle to add to an already dominant defensive line and just become the most dominant next to and rivaling and hopefully better than KC's defensive line. So that really only leaves us 2 stud options, and one is the preferred and going to be the most expensive, especially now. And that's Christian Wilkins. He's a free agent. He's going to be hitting the boards tomorrow, and we're going to be contending with teams who got a lot of money, like Chicago, like Houston, that are going to be vying for his services. Now, obviously, there's Leonard Williams, right? But Leonard Williams, his career's been up and down. Now, when he was under Patrick Graham in New York, he was great. But my worry with Leonard is he going to have that up and down situation if he comes to the Raiders? Whereas you got a Christian Wilkins, this dude is proven. I think he's going to be 29 at the season. So he's still fairly young, but what are your thoughts on what it would take to grab him now? Because before he was valued at like 20 million. I'm thinking because of this Chris Jones being off
Yeah,
the board, breaking the bank, setting the bar,
Yeah.
and then the competition to get him from teams who are sitting at big salary cap, ready to spend. I'm going to say we're anywhere now from 24 to 28 million. What do you guys feel about that for Christian Wilkins? And should we do it?
yeah, yeah. I think it was 25 before this all got started for Chris Wood.
Did you see
I
25?
think
I
you might be
thought
paying 30 if you
I
if you
seen
actually wanted to get him.
yeah,
Um,
I seen like
but I
20
throw it
I
out there.
seen 20 to
Yeah,
24 before. Um but that's a big price tag. Now granted, production wise, he was only 1.5 sack away from Chris Jones.
Yep.
Chris Jones got 10.5, Wilkins got 9. But one of the things that's great about Wilkins is he is an absolute monster against the run. And that's
Yeah.
something we've struggled with.
Yeah, I was always big on signing Chris Jones. He was my big target guy. I thought that he would be worth every single penny if we were to try to go out there and grab him. I think he is the best defensive tackle in the
yeah,
NFL, and not only by us signing him, we would be taking a key player from the Chiefs, and it would be one step further on how we could dethrone them and taking over the AFC just in general. And since that's off the board now, I say we got to do whatever we have to do to get either Wilkins or Williams now. I would go after Wilkins first, but if somehow things don't pan out to where we can't sign him, then we got to go for sure and try to get Big Cat. Absolutely.
So a quick question for Hot Beavers. Jeffrey says, and did you see this? Jeffrey says he's seen a comment last night from you. I think it was on my live last night that the Raiders have between 90 and 100 million. Every report that I've seen is that tops were at like 62. Did he misread that, or were you talking about something else?
Uh, that was
So,
for hot.
yeah, that was
Okay.
that was for Hot.
what's the question?
Jeffrey says that he's seen a comment from you last night that the Raiders have between. I think he's talking about the Raiders, right? I have a question. Hot. I saw a comment from him last night about having 90 to 100 million in cap space. I know Houston has 90. I think Chicago's around that area too. So is Washington, but we are not. We're sitting at maximum if they manipulate everything at like 60 million, maybe plus or minus. Do you know what he's talking about, Hot? With the 90 million?
Yeah, um, yeah. If we manipulate the cap, basically restructure Colton Miller and Max Crosby, and then we go ahead and make the kind of cuts we already started to make. One of them was Tillery, which was key to get into that number. But if we go ahead and do what we're supposed to do with Jimmy G and Hunter Renfro and Brendan Faison, and then a couple other guys down the roster that nobody really cares about, we can get into that 90 million range.
Okay. So that's what you're talking about. Like we're not there right now, but after
No,
we make some key moves
Right.
and some restructuring, we could be there. Okay.
absolutely.
No, I mean that would be awesome, and so that gives us competition room with Houston. I know Houston is eyeing Christian Wilkins,
Mhm.
but out of Christian Wilkins, I mean he's going to be the hot commodity now
Yep.
because Chris Jones is off the board and
Yeah.
Justin Matabuke has been franchised. So that leaves Leonard Williams, DJ Reader. Those guys are going to be available. And they're good
Uh,
consolation prizes, right?
yeah,
For sure. They're definitely upgrades from what
Mhm.
we got now.
absolutely. Quentin Jefferson is a sleeper also.
Yeah,
Bring
and,
Cuba.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Quentin. Yeah. So there's definitely there's more out there, but in my opinion, there's one left that's a dominant player. Just
Yeah,
outright dominant player, and that's Christian Wilkins.
you
So
got you got to throw the cash.
Yep.
Yeah, I
He had to
mean
make it rain.
it's definitely time to go out there and spend some bank, instead of trying, like, kind of has been the history with the Raiders over the past 10, 15 years, is going and grabbing players after they're washed up and giving them
True.
big paydays, right? I'd rather us go and do that and grab a guy who's at the pinnacle of his career at 28, 29 years
Right.
old and
Well, yeah,
put him next to Max.
yeah, yeah. I mean, how often does a guy with no issues that's absolutely dominant in his prime at a premium position like come available?
Yeah.
Like just throw the money at him. If we get him, cool.
I
Right?
mean, and he's one of those dudes that would not have in normal circumstances been on the free agency. But the
Right.
fact that Miami is in such a salary cap bind, they literally just could not afford him. And that's the only reason that he is not staying in Miami, that they did not franchise tag him. They just couldn't afford it. So
Mm.
that's good news for the Raider front. Now
Mhm.
it's time to see and I said, like, I have a video, I was editing it right before we went live, and I'm saying, like, AP needs to go to Miami. He should be in Miami right now, because one of the
Yep.
best things that he's been known for, whether
Agree.
it was in college or now coming into the NFL, is recruiting.
Hmm.
He's a great recruiter.
Hmm.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it's the
I mean,
the tampering
players
period
need
hasn't
fun.
opened yet until tomorrow. But I would literally just be sitting right outside of Christian Wilkins' house down there in Miami, just sitting in the front driveway,
Yep.
just be like,
I would be on that jet right now, flying over there, right?
and let's go, and it
Yep.
just be
Yep.
knocking on the door, like,
Yep.
come on, man, come jump in the 6'4". You know what I mean? Let me
Mm.
teach you about the Raider way. Come to Vegas. So
And I
it's gonna
think
be,
he'd be a perfect fit too, man. He would come in and just day one just be an impact, man. So I'm hoping, man. I'm really, really hoping for that signing.
yeah, and I mean, even if we end up with like a DJ Reader, Williams, any of these other guys, look, they're all over upgrades over what we got now.
Absolutely.
Adam Butler probably had his best year ever last year, but that's pretty much his ceiling,
Yeah.
right? If he hits 5 or 6 sacks, that's about it that you're going to get with him, because he's just
Mhm.
not dominant. He's not a bad player. He's a good player.
Yeah.
He's great depth, great to have on the team, and we should re-sign him. Um, but I think getting rid of Tillery was a great move. He came in, he
Yeah.
had one decent year for us, and just hasn't really panned out in any other way. So there was a reason why they cut him in LA. There's a reason why we cut him from Vegas. Hats off to him for being a Raider and you know doing some stuff. But yeah, we need to line Max Crosby up across from somebody that's going to require a double team also.
Yep.
And that, I mean, just imagine if you have Christian Wilkins next to Max Crosby.
Ooh, watch out, AFC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Just, I mean, a dominant player like that in the middle is just would just step this defense into top five. You know.
Yeah, it's guaranteed. I mean, that's the whole reason why Chris Jones got the money he got, because without Chris Jones, what is their defense? He is the heart and soul of their defense. That'd be like us giving up, Max Crosby to the free
Yeah.
agency. We just could not do it. It would be a terrible idea, and so I see why the Chiefs went all in with him. Why they made the deal. They're trying to three-peat. They won a Super Bowl in our house, so now it's on our organization to go up and match their play.
Absolutely.
We got to match them because we need to win the AFC West. I mean, obviously, nothing's ever guaranteed, but most likely we're going to dominate Denver because they're probably going to have Jared Stidham as their starter this year,
Yeah.
and some rookie backup. Maybe they'll sign Gardner Minshew or something like that, but they're not going to have an elite quarterback, and their defense is a mess. They're not going to be able to fix that overnight. So we'll dominate them. LA, I mean, I just seen a report today that Khalil Mack and the
Bosa.
one Bosa could be on their way to Frisco.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Oh no.
you know what I'm saying?
Oh
So
man.
there goes their entire defense is just
Yeah.
being shipped out.
What did I
Man.
say with Jimmy Harbaugh? He's gonna tear it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, he's putting his touch over there already. Dang.
So I love it. I love it when these coaches do that because again, when you tear down your entire organization, it takes a couple years to get up. Nightmare VR's got to leave. Thank you so much for your support. Appreciate you.
Thank you for being here, brother.
Raider Paul in the house. Raider Brian in the house. Wisco Raider in the house.
Salute everybody.
07 Hog Dog is in the house. And so many more. Everybody that is watching the podcast right now, appreciate you. Hats off to you. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't hit that subscribe button. And if you guys don't know Western Conference and Hot Beavers, if you guys want to throw your channel links into the chat, throw those channel links into the chat so that they can also hit that and go and subscribe to your channel as well. But they also, Raiders content creators, they're regulars on my channel. So guys, go show some love to them as well. Hit them up, subscribe to them. They're dropping great content. So let's support all the Raider voices out there.
Thank you.
What do you guys think? What do you think? Do you think the Raiders are going to trade up? And if so, is it going to happen in the next 2 to 3 days?
So since I heard about Mac Jones being traded now, I think that's a huge curveball now, and it looks like they're gonna get a quarterback, and that's how. So it appears like that's how it's gonna be 1, 2, 3 going in the draft. I could be wrong, but if that's the case, I really believe it's gonna be harder to get Jaden Daniels, and we're gonna have to pay a lot more now if we do want to get in that top 3. If we do want to go higher, I can see us trading possibly with the Giants, but they might get their guy too, you know. So it's really kind of a wait and see kind of approach. But I don't want to pay too much draft capital if we can't get Jaden Daniels, and I would be happy with Penix Jr.
Who do you guys think
Penix is good.
Who do you think they're targeting at 3? Because I think it's JJ.
JJ McCarthy at 3?
I could see that for sure.
Quarterback that doesn't have a ton of reps goes to New England.
Yep. I could see that for sure. Definitely.
I would agree. I would agree with that with you, brother, if it was still Belichick. I don't think Gerard Mayo. I think Gerard Mayo is gonna go with the flashy Jaden Daniels or Drake May.
He wants time. JJ buys him time.
True. I think whoever he drafts there will buy him time. But I could see your point. Raider D, since it's a new coach, I could see him trying to get that hot, flashy guy. And but as Hot Beavers just said too, I wouldn't doubt it if they do get JJ McCarthy over there as well. So those are two good options for them.
But would you grab him at 3 though?
I honestly wouldn't. But knowing the Patriots, maybe they might. Which is better for us.
It is, but that would be a hard pill to swallow. I mean, he was just a month ago, second rounder at best. And to grab him at 3, that would be tough, man. That would be tough because again, I think he's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. But that's a big reach on a guy. Oh man, I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see if they were to do that. Again, anything can happen in the draft, right?
This is right before
Um,
combine.
I mean,
If they,
I would think. Well,
if
and then here's the other thing too that you have to take into consideration. Baker Mayfield hasn't signed his contract, right?
no, but I honestly think that Tampa Bay, I really see him just going back there. I really don't see him hitting the free agency. I just feel like they're gonna do something to try to keep him there.
The, the, new,
Because
the news out of the combine was all this hype for.
I seen a report that New England is very big on Baker Mayfield, and that
Hey,
they're circling.
if they want to get him, then hey, that's better for us, you know. So if they want to get JJ and or sign Baker Mayfield, that increases our odds of getting Jaden Daniels. But I just don't know if Jaden Daniels is there at 3. I would go with Jaden Daniels, but the Patriots, who knows? Who knows what they will do with that pick, man?
Yeah, that's an interesting one because they have so many holes to fill. I would think that they would try to trade back, maybe trade up with like or trade back with another team to like pick 6 through 8.
Yeah.
JJ's probably still be there, get more
Yeah.
draft capital, and then do it that way.
But who in that range wants to get to 3?
That's
I mean, if you got Jaden Daniels sitting there, the Heisman Trophy winner,
Is it
I
San
would
Diego
trade up.
or, you know, who's from, you know what I mean? Like the only one
Yeah.
is maybe the Giants.
yeah,
But
and
if
I
the
mean,
Giants know you're picking JJ, they're like, why would we trade up to 3?
yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man.
Yeah.
God, that would be a tough. Like if the Raiders picked him at 3, I would be mad. I would be mad because
Oh yeah,
Me too. Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
I would be so mad because I think JJ McCarthy is going to be a good player in the NFL. I don't know if he's going to be a superstar. I think there's just not enough of him to know. And then even on players like Jaden Daniels, all of this is a crapshoot. You
Yep.
don't know. Only 33% of these guys on average ever become a starting quarterback or stay a starting quarterback. So
Mm.
even the guys that are a sure lock to be a Hall of Famer get into the NFL and become utter busts, right? So as far as the Raiders go, if the Patriots are going to do that and they're going to grab JJ, then that's going to leave Jaden Daniels out there, possibly, because Washington could take Jaden Daniels as well.
Yep.
Right. Or Drake. Yeah, but I think they're
Right.
taking May.
So, I mean, are we going to leave it to chance? And that's the question. So
Yeah.
last year, Chicago made their trade moves like day one of the tampering period
Mhm.
and did their trades for their draft picks and stuff with Carolina. I could see that happening again now because, look, coaches said we want to be aggressive and we want to move up and grab our guy.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, if that's the case, then you need to do it now. Don't
Yeah.
wait. Because there's other people who would love Jaden Daniels too. We're not the only ones.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think you might see us immediately move up to 6 just to sit there and then on draft day do what we have to do. You know what I mean? If we
Yeah,
need
if
to move
we
up.
kind of move up.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that as well. But it's all it all depends on who's gonna be there. That's the big question. Who will be there? That's the $1 million question right there.
Yeah. And then I mean it would just suck if we did move up to 6 and then Jaden Daniels gets picked by the
Yep.
Patriots
And we
or by
strike out,
Washington
and
and
we
we
strike
strike
out.
out.
Yeah.
But you can always trade back. in that situation because JJ's there. Somebody might want him. You can still always trade back from 6 at that point.
Yeah, I mean, there's other, fantastic players at 6. Wide
Mhm.
receiver.
Yeah,
I mean,
true. Yeah.
Marvin Harrison could be at 6, depending on how things fell.
Neighbors.
Neighbors could be there at 6. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's really 4 primetime wide receivers in this draft that are all top 10 guys. Not all of them are going to be taken in the top 10 because not everybody's going to spend that top 10 pick on a wide receiver. I think the Raiders could even end up with at least a Dunze at 13. I
I would
think,
love that.
God, man. That's just an embarrassment of riches at receiver.
yeah.
But I don't think the Raiders will entertain getting a receiver that early. That's just me. I just see us
The
like if we
only the only
like
reason why I say that, brother, is because of what Tom Telesco said a couple weeks ago,
the
which
best
is we need the best player on the board, and then
available.
we also need a lot of help on offense. And so
Yeah.
if you look at our wide receiver core, it's really it's really 2 receivers.
Yep.
Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. Trey Tucker, love him, but he's coming off a rookie year. He's a little guy. Yes, he's fast, but you can't make him your true number 2. He's too small. Um,
Mhm.
so you really need a true number 2 wide receiver. Now we could do that in the free agency also, but I'd rather grab somebody that has high upside and a rookie scale contract. Um, but that would also mean that you're planning on fixing the trenches in rounds 2, 3, 4 on the
Yeah.
offensive line, which is fine because you're going to find guards and centers in 3 and 4. You do every year.
Yep.
And, a tackle, you're going to find a good tackle. I mean, Amarius Mims could end up at pick 44. But then there's, the other things. Let's say we don't get Christian Wilkins. He goes to Houston. Leonard
Mhm.
Williams goes to Chicago. DJ Reader goes to wherever. And nobody came. Now we got to draft a defensive tackle because we don't have a superstar defensive tackle. And the problem is we missed on a superstar defensive tackle last year. So do you guys think that, I mean, the big names that are out there right now, first rounders, is Byron Young the second and Newton. Do you think those guys are worth a pick 13? I mean, DeAndre Carter last year was it was a no brainer, and of course the Raiders passed on him.
I think you could
Good thing we
find
passed on.
now this is just me. I think we can find more value at defensive tackle in the second or third rounds, but my focus would be if we can't um, get our defensive tackle in free agency, we got to get our quarterback. And I'm all in for Penix Jr. if we can't get Jaden Daniels. And I know there's people out there who are saying, well, what if Joe Alt is at 6 and we do trade it to like 6? Joe Alt is a great guy. He's a great player, but I wouldn't draft him that high because there's so many offensive line talent that you can get in those rounds too. So I would not get a defensive tackle that early. That's just me.
What's your opinion?
If so, the scenario is we don't get a D tackle in free agency. I think in that case, I would be for trying to possibly trade back a bit and get somebody like a Byron Young, and then wait for try to trade back up higher into the second round or back up into the first to get the quarterback.
Yeah, it's not a bad plan at all. And I mean, really, you're looking at who's going to be available at pick 13. I mean, if the other issue also is what if, and I know this isn't going to happen, what if Fashanu dropped to pick 13 somehow. Does that throw everything out the window and you're just like, this dude?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Because
that's
I'm much higher on Olu Fashanu than I am on Joe Alt. I think Fashanu he's so well adapted that you could move him to right tackle and he won't miss a beat. I'm worried if you did that with Joe Alt, if he would thrive at right tackle, because it's not he's not he is a left tackle true all the way through. Moving him around, I'd be worried. But Fashanu, I would be like, I would have no problem seeing him on the right side.
Yeah. Like if we
yeah.
could walk away from
I'm sorry.
Shano and Penix, I mean,
That would be. I would be so happy with those two players right there. If that were the case, I would be all in for that right there.
So I mean, it's pretty obvious that we're going to grab somebody in free agency in regards to the defensive tackle. Now, the worst case scenario is none of them wanted to come to the Raiders, which we know is not going to happen because we already know Leonard Williams loves the Raiders. We already know that other D tackles out there have nothing but high praises of Max Crosby and this defense, and the coaching in Vegas itself is attractive.
Yep.
So it's pretty much a lock that we will walk away with somebody in the free agency. Hopefully that is Christian Wilkins, because I do believe that he is the most dominant player. But
I agree.
for everybody that's watching the live right now, if you want to be dominant in your life and you're like me in your 40s or your 50s or your 60s or you're even in your 30s, you know that you start to lose testosterone after age 30. And you start to feel that by being fatigued and everything else. So as you can see up here on the screen, we have our channel sponsor, Earth Elixir, which has Tongat Ali and Fedosia Agresta, which I personally have been using for a year. So guys, go ahead and check them out. If you want to feel better and you want a natural, safe way to raise up your testosterone, go over, hit the link. You can scan it with the QR code if you're watching this on TV, or the link is down in the description if you're on your phone. And it's going to save you 15% on your first purchase. And the owner is a lifelong Raiders fan. Great guy, great company. So happy to have them here. Now that we put the kids to bed, we can talk about some more football. So who's give me your guys' rundown on who is the best receiver in this draft class, because this is a debate that I've had with some people, and I'll save mine for the last. You guys are the guests. You guys get to eat first. So,
Thank you. Should I go first or
yeah, go ahead.
Neighbors?
Malik Neighbors. Okay, why?
I just think he's just the overall top talent. He has good speed. He has good hands, and I just think he will not be a bust. I just think he's going to pan out wherever he goes. He's going to put up good production. He's going to have lots of catches and yards, and I just feel like with him, you cannot go wrong.
I mean, he did have the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback throwing to him, so that definitely helps out his case.
Yeah.
I mean, the quarterback was definitely no schlump. He was back there tossing that rock left, right, and center. Hot Beavers, what do you think? Who is your number one pick in the wide receiver class coming out?
yeah, I've been saying it for a while. Malik Neighbors is my guy. I feel like his game translates to the NFL more directly than Marvin Harrison. I think Marvin Harrison is extremely talented. I wonder about how durable he will continue to be as you know he's playing in the NFL. I just feel like Malik Neighbors is so explosive. He's just like, you get the ball in his hands in basically any situation, and he just makes plays.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's my guy.
And Harrison Jr. is great too. So all people
Yeah,
watching,
no,
don't think I'm shutting up on him at all.
You gotta pick somebody.
Yeah.
He's amazing. I'm just saying, like, out of the two.
And that's why I said, like, this wide receiver class is so deep this year that you really can't miss if you grab any of these four guys, right? And obviously there's the guy opposite of Malik Neighbors. Uh, he doesn't get any credit, mostly because you're playing with a guy named Neighbors, right, on the other side of the field. But Brian Thomas, he's fantastic. I would say, and then there's Roma Dunze, right? Beast, beast, like gonna just tear it up in the NFL. So between these four guys, it's a no brainer that if the Raiders somehow were to finagle away, like if we could trade up into the first round 3 times, like AP said, I wish we had more picks. Like that would be great. Like this draft is so loaded with talent. Like last year,
It's crazy.
it was
Yeah.
a different draft class. This year, it's wide receivers, offensive tackles are really loaded in this draft. Corners, a lot of
Man.
great corners in this
Yeah.
draft, and then quarterbacks, a lot of great quarterbacks in this draft. I'm gonna have to say the same. So, as a unanimous vote, I'm going with Malik Neighbors.
The tribe has
Uh,
spoken.
but my reason for Malik Neighbors over Marvin Harrison is twofold. One, Marvin Harrison had more drops. Number two, the numbers that Malik Neighbors was able to put up at 6 foot tall versus 6'3", 6'4" of Marvin Harrison, and Marvin Harrison being, I think more, and it's like just slightly more athletic than Malik Neighbors. I think that that's impressive in and of itself. So physically, he's smaller, and when it comes to wide receivers, inches do matter, because you need to get up over those DBs. And so you got a lot of DBs that are sitting there at 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot that he's playing against, and he's outworking those guys. He's coming down with the ball. So for me, that's more impressive, and he's more sure-handed. So I would definitely have to say Malik Neighbors. But obviously we know Marvin Harrison Jr. has the nameplate, and that's why he'll probably get picked before Malik Neighbors. But if I was Tom Telesco and we were going receiver, we filled all the other holes, or we're going to fill the rest of the holes later on, and it's between Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors, I'm taking Malik.
Yeah.
Because for me, Malik Neighbors reminds me so much of Devontae Adams. I think he is like a Devontae Adams 2.0. And he's
Yeah.
going to be a monster to defend in the NFL moving forward.
Absolutely.
So, you know what? I didn't even hear the news about Mac Jones getting traded. That's new to me. I've been editing video all day, so I haven't been
I was shocked
keeping
about
track.
that, man. I thought that was their guy. When I saw that, I'm like, wow, that definitely changes things, man. It changes things for
Well,
sure.
I knew that they were going to look for other options again, because they were looking at Baker Mayfield, Kirk Cousins. They, it slipped out that they wanted a veteran.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they would just bench him,
Yeah.
but trade him. So where did they trade him to?
Jacksonville. So he will be holding that nice clipboard over there.
Wow.
And I'm like, man, so
So
he
he's
won't
going to
even be
be,
a starter,
yeah, he's going to be backing up Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, so
He'll
that's what
never see
baffles
the
me,
light of day.
I'm like, wow, to be sitting there like,
They've been trading him for years though, so I'm not sure exactly what this means, but yeah, just saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, since his rookie year, he really just has not been able to put it together. He had a good rookie year, but that was it.
Absolutely.
That was it. So, yeah, that does throw a wrench into I mean, not completely. My theory is that our best trade partner would be the Patriots,
Right.
just based on the fact that they said they were looking to go veteran for this year. And they got so many holes that they need to try, or that they need to fill in the free in the draft. So gaining a lot more draft capital, which you would get from the Raiders, would basically secure you a couple years worth of very highly prized draft picks to move up. And then if they could, snatch Baker Mayfield away from Tampa Bay, that would work for them. Now they've got a guy who's, finally coming into his career. He should be a huge upgrade over Mac Jones, and then trade back. But now, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
Not so sure because we'll have to see because they definitely don't have an option now. Now they have to have a quarterback, whether
Yeah.
that's
Well,
free
if
agency
I'm
or what's that, brother?
if I was yeah, if I was the head coach in this situation, I actually would be happy to not get a quarterback this year. I would draft everything else, and then you buy yourself an extra year.
Because the
For
Patriots,
for the
they got a
Patriots.
lot of holes too, man. They got a lot of holes to fill.
Yeah.
They're like Swiss cheese, man. They got a lot of
Well, and
holes.
it's one of those situations, and this is why it made sense that they were talking about a veteran because you bring in a veteran like a Kirk Cousins who you can afford because you got a lot of cap space over there in New England, or Baker Mayfield, who again you can afford. That really helps out the new head coach
Yeah.
because now you got a guy, especially with Cousins. This dude is gonna get you at least 3,800 yards, if not over 4,000, as long as he's healthy.
All right.
And then if he gets hurt, that's also another excuse. Well, you can't fire me because our star quarterback got hurt. So
Yeah.
we didn't lose because I'm a bad coach. We lost because Kirk Cousins, blew out his bunghole or something. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's getting up there. Look, and I'm gonna say it, man.
He's old enough for this.
Yeah, he's 35 years old. He's coming off a blown Achilles. And the worst thing about that between him and Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers blew it. He's 40 years old.
Yeah.
But he blew it week 1. So he's going to have an entire 12 months to get ready for week 1 of this season. Kirk Cousins blew it in what, week 6 or 7?
Yeah.
So he's not even going to do any training camp.
Yep.
None. No training camp, no first team reps, no nothing, and may not even be available till week 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean? So you also got to take that into account that if you go and sign a guy like Kirk Cousins, I mean, it's a situation where he could have a bad year just because he's not getting into shape as well as timing with his receivers.
Yeah. I just found out so I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that he bought a house in Atlanta. So I don't know how much, that.
I did hear he was looking for one, but I hadn't heard that he actually purchased one.
Okay. Because if that's, the case, like if he actually purchased a house over there, I'm kind of like, okay, like what are you planning over here?
And here's the thing with Minnesota is they haven't closed the door with him.
I think that if he doesn't go to Atlanta, he will stay a Viking, and I can see Baker going to the Patriots.
And I think that the reason why Minnesota hasn't sealed up that contract with him is the Achilles.
Yep.
They've got to be sitting there looking at it like, dude, you want $30 million guaranteed a year, 2-year contract, guaranteed contract. There's other options out there who don't have a blown Achilles.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big risk, man. That's like me going and buying a new engine for my Raptor and it's got a blown cylinder in it already and be like, look, if it works, it's going to get you an extra 150 horsepower, but if it don't work, you're buying another engine.
Yeah.
I actually did that with my Camaro. I bought a Camaro 2010 and the kid I bought it from, it had a blown cylinder. The engine was toasted. They ruined it. And I knew it, so I basically was just buying the body.
Yeah.
I went and I bought a crate engine, had my mechanic put it in, and it was nothing but problems. So I equate that story to Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Don't be my Camaro.
Don't be a crate engine.
You know what I mean? And I love that car so much, man. It sounded like music to my ears, especially under underpasses. Yeah. I had a custom exhaust built on it. I had the biggest, fattest tires you could possibly put on a Camaro on it. Every time I would drive it down the street, like kids would be waving like I was Batman or something because it looked like the Batmobile. It was all
Yeah.
black on black. It was beautiful.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
I probably got to drive that thing for a total of a week.
Oh
Like it was
man,
always in the shop, always in the shop, always in
man,
the shop,
yeah.
and that's
It's
Kirk
crazy
Cousins, man.
Kirk Cousins is always in the shop getting
Kirk
worked on.
Cousins is always going to be in the shop.
Kirk Cousins
So-
and Clay Aiken.
Yeah, definitely
Oh,
don't.
that's a
And
good one.
that's why I'm like, some people were saying we want Kirk Cousins with the Raiders. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, man, you're traumatized, bro. I got PTSD from my Camaro. Don't bring Kirk Cousins here,
Yeah.
please.
Nah.
Now, actually, so like, you know, I got some PTSD from Jimmy Garoppolo and Tyree Wilson with injuries.
Yeah.
Like when we drafted Tyree, I was like, this is stupid. This is so stupid.
I did not expect that draft pick at all. I thought there was many different routes we could have went on that draft. And
Jalen Carter.
Yeah. I honestly thought that we would get him, but Josh
Can we talk
McDaniels,
about
man,
Jalen
put his touch over there and
Huh?
poison everything, man.
Can
Well-
we talk about Jalen Carter? Because he's going to be a bust, bro.
What?
Like, Jalen Carter is on social media stalking other players already. Like,
Oh, really?
he's going to flame out, bro. Just
Wow. Dang.
Yeah, but
I didn't know about that.
even if he flames out, as long as we win a Super Bowl first,
You're
and
right.
then all right, this sayonara, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the social media thing. When
Yeah,
did that
same.
come out?
yeah,
Same here.
it was just a couple weeks ago. I'm trying to remember who it was. I want to say it was the old boy that used to play for us on the offensive line from UCLA. We let him go pretty quick. He was a guard. Or no. Yeah. But he got pissed off at him from a penalty in the game and just stalked him, and his family was putting pictures of the dude's family on social media for weeks.
Oh man.
Where his family lived.
What?
That's
Yeah, we had
wild.
we drafted a guy named Damon Arnett who liked to do stupid stuff on the internet. The
Well, we
internet,
had
look,
a-
the internet
Exactly.
is like a blessing and a curse.
We
And
had,
it can be one or the other. If you're not mentally well, you should not have an internet account.
Well, we had Barrett Robbins, right? You know, who's good.
Oh, yeah, in the Super Bowl.
You know, right?
I'm telling you, man, I think they
Aaron
slipped.
Rodgers, man.
I think they did something to that dude, man. I think they did something to him. I think they slipped something, like he was maybe at the hotel or something, and they slipped something to him, and then next thing you know, he's just off on a bender, going
In
crazy.
Tijuana, right? He was
Yeah.
in Tijuana.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
spun out.
Great.
I mean,
great
it's
player,
big money.
but-
There's a lot of money involved, especially when you're talking about Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, we know Michael Jordan came and played the Jazz, and they poisoned him, gave him
Yeah,
food
the-
poisoning.
Pizza.
You know what I mean?
Pizza.
So, yeah, the Barrett Robbins thing. I knew we were going to lose that Super Bowl anyway. I knew it just because of the way it played out with John Gruden being on the other side, and then Barrett happened, and the news came out that he wasn't going to be playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
And
that
I was just like,
man.
We're done.
I was like, yeah, here we go, man. It's just
We're
one.
playing like that defense, and we don't have our offensive line. Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew it was. But you know what? Like, we started out good in that Super Bowl. Like at the beginning of the Super Bowl, I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna win this thing, baby. We're gonna win Super Bowl." Yeah, and then by halftime, I was like, "Oh my god, dude,
Yeah.
what is going on here?"
Started calling out our audibles for us. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
John Lynch at the end of the game. They were interviewing him. He was like, "Yeah, you guys seem like you're one step ahead of the offense." Yeah, we knew all of their calls. Coach told us they didn't even change their calls. He made it right there on national TV.
Yeah.
I was just, dude. I was this close to throwing my TV out the window.
Yeah.
I was so mad.
It was slightly embarrassing.
It was, yeah.
So I heard that the whole game plan for that week, it was run heavy and then like like 3 days prior, like something, we changed it to like pass heavy, and it just, you know what I mean? And so wild, man. Wow.
Guys, we got my boy Raiders Rebel Unleashed in the house. He is also another Raiders creator.
What's
Check
up,
out
brother?
his profile and go watch his videos. Subscribe to his channel. Awesome dude. He's going to be coming on the channel here soon when we have our open mic night. Just putting it out there, man. Putting it out there. He's doing a great job. Much love to you, Raiders Rebel. Appreciate you for all the support you've been giving us. Definitely, Raider Nation, show him some love. And he says, Tyree going to show out this year with full training camp, OTAs under his belt. Watch, mark my words, that's my breakout player. I hope so. I'm rooting for the
Same
kid.
here. I am hoping so too,
Right.
man.
Because we spent a number 7 pick on him.
Yeah.
And we've had so many first-round busts that he cannot do it. Like, change the tradition, man. Change it. Tyree... Like be the Chris Jones 2.0 or something. I know it's
Yeah.
different. He plays different position, but
Yeah,
different build.
well,
But I want to see him flash.
And just say, I just have to say, shout out to all the Raiders content creators out there, man. Salute to all of you guys out there, man. I love all of you guys' content. I watch a lot of you guys out there. You guys are great. We all bring something different to the Raider table, and I appreciate all you guys out there, man.
100%.
same
I mean,
thing.
as long as they're real Raiders creators,
Absolutely.
because
Yeah.
there's a couple out
Yeah,
there
yeah.
that I'm just like, I
There's
don't know.
so there's some that have the like chat or the AI guy talking.
Oh,
you
I
know,
hate those.
I don't like those.
I hate that, and because they get me with the clickbait, man.
Yeah.
They get every
Yeah.
time. It's like breaking news. This just happened. Oh God, I gotta click on that. What happened?
Yeah, and it's like, oh man.
And then it's this obvious AI voice. Like the AI is so good now. I was listening to one the other day that you can't even tell it's AI. Like, go get that AI. Stop using the AI. Whatever service you've signed up for to edit your videos with, leave that service. Go get the new AI, because the new AI, like, you can't even tell it's an AI.
Yeah.
But that old one, it's like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
terrible, bro.
It's cringe city, man. I'm just like over here like,
And then the script.
Yeah.
The script is so bad. Like, even if it was AI and the script was good, I might watch it.
Yeah.
But the script comes out like, breaking just happened. Raiders happen. News now. Raiders happen.
Yeah.
Breaking now. Subscribe to this channel first.
Yeah.
Before you do anything else, subscribe. And I'm
Robot
just like,
City, man.
I'm just like, click.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
terrible,
got that
man. It's
down.
terrible.
That's exactly how it sounds.
Man.
Yeah, man, it's fun though. I love creating content. I never thought that this would become what it has become. I'm so humbled. I literally I filled hundreds of comments a day. 99% of them are super positive. 1% are guys who just hate their lives and have nothing better to do.
Hey, brother. Hey, I get those guys too, man. I get those guys. Hey, and it's cool, you know. I respect everybody's, opinion, and like all that, because we are entitled to, that. But there's some people who just don't know what they're talking about, and it's like, all right.
No, I love it. I want all the smoke. Because
Yeah.
I do a mailbag. I will put your smoke right on to the YouTube and have everybody understanding how
I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done it. You guys have seen my videos. I've put them on blast. I mean, if you're gonna say something completely stupid and you've got your name on it, you might end up in a video.
Yeah.
I might put your post right there for everybody to see. You know, it's
I will
crazy.
make you famous.
So last night, I got this comment that was like 6 paragraphs.
Oh man.
But look, normally when I get those, that's the person that hates the world and hates me even more.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. I'm not
Okay.
gonna say his name, but he's a former college coach, offensive coordinator in college, and he broke down my video comparison between rookie years of Aiden O'Connell and Peyton Manning, and he gave me the highest compliments, and basically told everybody, if you think you know more football than him, you think you know more football than me. I coached in blah 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 blah. And he broke it down. He's like, Raider D, you're right on, and this is why. And he broke down every point of what I had correct. And I just want to say, like, bro, I am a fan. I am not an expert. I have never coached even peewee football. I played football when I was younger, but
same here.
You know what I mean? I've never coached anything. I'm not an analyst. I'm not a scout. I'm not an expert. I'm a guy in front of a microphone, hanging out with my buddies, talking Raiders football. Yep. So that's everybody that gets mad at me and says, you're stupid and you don't know football. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm just a fan with a microphone and a camera. But that's cool. But I do spend about 12 to 16 hours studying, watching film, looking at stats, editing films, and making this content. So I'm not going to say I don't know football, but I'm not an expert. And so to have an actual expert take the time to break down paragraph by paragraph of everything that I said that was correct, man, that was like the hugest compliment ever. And I wrote him back and I was like, bro, this means so much to me because I don't care about being famous. I don't care about being some influencer and big time and all this stuff. That's great. If that happens, cool. I would love to have a big ESPN show. That would be like dream job, right?
Right.
But I just love talking about football, and that's why I make these videos. And apparently a bunch of other people like what I'm saying, so it's growing, and that's cool. And that's really what it all comes down to is us as creators in this space of Raiders football. We do it because we love the Raiders. It's a way of life for us. It's a culture that is unlike any other football team.
There's no nation like the Raider Nation.
Nothing
like it. Nothing.
It's completely different than anything else that's out there. And no, I'm not saying like any other team doesn't have a culture or their fan base isn't cool or whatever. I'm not dogging other fan bases. I mean, unless you're a Chiefs, unless it's the Chiefs. Like I don't even dog the Broncos fan base because I just pity them. I just feel bad for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's on a mountain. What are you gonna do?
But hey, but there is no culture like our culture though, man. And I'm proud to be part of the Raider Nation. And Don, like right now, I'm wearing my Bo Jackson jersey right now, man.
Bo Jackson, my favorite player of all time.
And man, it's just I love it, and I love going out and wearing my jersey. And there's times where I see people, at like malls or stores, and they're not Raider fans. They kind of do the little eye thing to me, and that makes me feel so much better. Like, yeah, I'm wearing this on my back,
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool, man. I love it. I love the Raider Nation. I love just all the support that you get. Like most of my friends are all Raiders fans.
Yeah.
And it's weird because we didn't become friends because of the Raiders. It had nothing to do. It's not like we met at a game or anything like that. But there's just like this, I don't know if it's just a mentality or something where Raiders fans kind of attract other Raiders fans or something. But it's weird. It's weird.
And we are truly like a family. Like I would go to games here in like Oakland. I would walk there and just tailgate. There's people be like, hey, hungry? Want a hot dog? You want a hamburger? Want a beer? You want this? It's just all love over there, man. All love.
Yeah. Got some new faces I haven't seen in here before. Maybe I've missed you before. We got Jack Kenna in the house. Let's give him some love. I'm loving that logo on your name. That is sweet, man. Fire Raiders OC doesn't seem to mesh well with Fields. Now, look, brother, I've heard this rumor, right? We've all heard it. But I went and I did all my research on it as far as I could find. And I've never found any negative talk from either one of those parties. It's actually the opposite. I've seen nothing but positive comments about each other. So, to be honest with you, I don't think the issue was between them. I think the issue was with Matt Eberflus, the head coach. over there. And I think that's the whole reason. Like last year, at the end of the year, it was Luke Getsy. You're fired. You're gonna be, the patsy. You're gonna take the fall for this because we're not gonna fire our head coach. And now it's Justin Fields, right? So we're just gonna start over. It's you guys. You guys are the problem. So I'm not sure. I don't think that we're gonna end up with Justin Fields. It's a possibility. And if it's gonna happen, it's gonna probably happen in the next day or two.
I agree.
But I don't see us ending up with Justin Fields at this point. I think there's just, even at pick 13, you're still like you said, you're going to probably have a Michael Penix Jr. sitting there, possibly J.J. McCarthy, possibly Bo Nix. And I wouldn't mind any of those guys at 13. I know there's other Raider channels who are adamantly against that. I wouldn't be against that 100%. Do I think that they're all worthy of that pick? I think Michael Penix Jr. is, just because I'm very confident that he's day one ready starter in the NFL. I think he'd thrive like a CJ Stroud did. I think JJ McCarthy has a lot of unknown upside, and he could come out and be a superstar. Bo Nix, I don't think he's pick 13, but you take the risk of losing him if you trade back. And if that's your guy, he's from Oregon. There's reports out there that Tom Telesco likes him, has made positive comments about him. It's possible we end up with a Bo Nix, and I wouldn't hate it.
On your chat here, it says Baker is getting paid $100 million from Tampa.
Did they make a deal with him?
I don't know, but I just saw that.
Did it just Ray? Is that breaking news? Because I hadn't seen anything before we jumped on the live.
What's that?
Baker Mayfield signs a $100 million contract.
That sounds about right. Yeah, staying with the Bucks.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's official. Ray says they are finalizing it. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They better finalize it before tomorrow.
You're right. Yeah.
Otherwise, the Patriots are going to be like, hello.
Yeah.
Ray says it was on the Bleacher Report. So if it was on the Bleacher Report, it's probably going to be a good done deal because they usually get it right.
Wow.
But what was that? Dad's Drewster 100 says he wouldn't even give him half of that. Like on Baker Mayfield, I think it's hit and miss, man. He finally had a good year. Not that he hasn't had flashes before, but he finally was able to put it all together in one season with that team down there. But can he be consistent with that? Is that what's going to happen again this year? That would be my worry if the Raiders try to go and get him and bring him to a new team. Could he replicate what he did? Midnight Raider King in the house says, yes, Mayfield deal is done. So, well, if that's the case, then that really destroys my my hopes of trading with the Patriots because they were big on Mayfield. So now it's what do they do? Do they go after a Gardner Minshew? Do they go after the injured Kirk Cousins? Jacoby Brissett. You know what I mean?
Sam Darnold. I don't get
Sam Darnold to the Patriots. Make your comeback.
Yeah.
Make your comeback. Either that or they could go after the broke down Camaro, Kirk Cousins.
Oh man.
You know what I mean?
Service shop Kirk Cousins.
Yep. And so, breaking news, Kirk Cousins will not be playing this week because he is getting his engine replaced. Again. So that leaves us at free agency. Now, look. Coach AP said no Band-Aids. We all heard it. I've repeated it 100 times. And guys, in the comments, I want you to I'm going to make this statement now. Before you destroy me, I want you to destroy this man on the top over here, Hot Beavers,
Oh man,
because
under the
he's the one.
bus.
He's the one who got me on the
Oh
Russell crack.
god.
Okay.
Unceremoniously blocked. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. No, I'm just
Hey,
kidding.
remind me not to tell him where the body's buried.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I was 100% against us bringing Russell Wilson or even trying it.
I was
But
too,
this,
man.
but
I
this
was too.
man, he presented me with some logical arguments. Okay. And I'm a logical kind of guy. And I'm a stats guy. So after our conversation, we were having a live a few days ago. I think it was last week. After the news came out that they'd cut him over there in Denver. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let me go back and just, do my homework on Russell Wilson. Because my whole issue with him was the Russell Wilson effect. The Mr. Unlimited.
Mr. Unlimited.
I didn't want no part of that in the Raiders, right? He's corny, he's cheesy, he's cringe, he's all of that. But I went back and I watched a bunch of his game footage, looked at his stats, and you know what? The PFF had him ranked above Kyler Murray and a whole bunch of other QBs that you would have no problem signing with the Raiders.
He has some pretty good stats too, man. And I was not big on bringing, or trying to even entertain that option. I was against it, but for that deal of how cheap you can get him, it's like so cheap. It's a half-eaten sandwich, type deal. Worst comes to worst, man.
It's like buying a Camaro with a blown engine.
Exactly.
Except this engine isn't blown, right?
Yeah.
The owner just thinks it's blown, but in fact, it just had a little bit of dirt and needed to be cleaned out, right? Justin Brown says Russell Wilson is the answer, even though Hot Beavers said it. So despite you saying it, he's agreeing with you. I don't know if that's a compliment to you or an insult. I have no idea. None.
Wow.
I think that is a good thing.
Cool.
Big Ray in the house says for 1.2 million, then yes, but I'm still drafting someone, which of course you would do. You would do. But now you're not beholden to selling the farm to try and get Jaden Daniels when most likely we're not going to be able to get him anyway. Right. Yeah. So now if you draft or if you bring in Russell Wilson basically for free, and now you can sit back and say, okay, this is what I want to do. I believe in AOC has a potential good future with us, and we need to plug some other holes. So we're going to grab a right tackle.
Yeah.
We're gonna fill the trenches.
Free agency comes before the
right. So we'll take care of these other issues and get us a Pro Bowl caliber right tackle, guard, center, corner, right? Maybe we end up with Kool-Aid McKinstry or one of these other guys, Arnold, any of them. So it gives you more flexibility in this draft rather than we have to sell the farm and get JD5, which I've been advocating. I think this kid, to be honest, is the only generational player in this draft class. I don't think it's Caleb Williams. And if you look at, besides all the hype, if you look at what other NFL quarterbacks who are, very some of them were very good. Some of them weren't, like Ryan Leaf. He was a second overall draft pick, but then he became a drug addict, whatever. But he's still a very intelligent dude. And he was, I seen his podcast the other day, and he said Caleb Williams, great. But 75% of what he does is not going to work in the NFL. And so he's really going to have to become a better quarterback if he wants to match the level of play of Patrick Mahomes, because that's what Patrick Mahomes did. So if he can do that, yes, he'll be fantastic. But if not, right, like if you want to make him a day one starter, he's going to throw 25 picks in a season. Versus a guy that he's very high on, which is Michael Penix Jr. and Jaden Daniels. He says both of those guys are day one starters. They could easily, with a full training camp and everything else, They can handle business, no problem. So I would be okay with us grabbing Michael Penix and let him sit for a year, and we ride with Russell Wilson. Now, the knock on Russell Wilson has been that he's not mobile anymore. Well, I would have to disagree with that because after my conversation with Hot Beavers, I was forced to go watch Donko's game footage, which I never want to have to do, but I had to go and see, is he still mobile? Is the knock on him of not being mobile, is that true? And lo and behold, it is not true. This dude is still super shifty.
Yeah.
He is super mobile back there, throwing off platform, crazy angles with his body. So then I was like, it was at that point after I watched it, I was like, okay, maybe Hot Beaver's onto something here. Maybe the Raiders should court this dude, not as a Band-Aid, because when, what was AP talking about as a Band-Aid? If we go grab Gardner Minshew, Brissett, any of these dudes, those are Band-Aids.
Yep.
You're not winning Super Bowls with these guys.
Nope.
Russell Wilson's not a Band-Aid.
It's surgery.
Yeah, Russell Wilson is straight up a Super Bowl champ who had one bad year in Seattle, and they traded him.
Yeah.
And then obviously was thrown into a terrible situation with a head coach who should not have been a head coach, with Hackett. And then he gets an egomaniac, McDaniel's grandpa, in Sean Payton, who just, and despite Sean Payton, he had a good year.
Yeah.
Not great, but it was good. And PFF have him ranked 17th.
Sean Payton was never fully sold on him. Never fully sold
Sean
on him.
Payton is one of those dudes who had a lot of success, and then, because of the scandal with the Bountygate, he got ran out for a little while. Now he's back and he wants to remake his mark. And you see these egos, right? It's the same thing that's happening down there to the Chargers right now. These guys come in, I'm going to tear it all down, and I'm going to remake it in my image because I know everything. Well, McDaniels tried to do that, and he's never even been a successful head coach. At least both of these egomaniacs have been to a Super Bowl, and one has won them, right? So I don't think it's Russell Wilson. I don't. I think Russell Wilson still has it in him, and I think the disrespect that he was shown by Sean Payton has lit a fire under him. And he said it in a podcast where I'm fired up. I want to win two more of those Lombardi trophies. So I think it would be a good fit for the Raiders to bring him in on a 2-year contract and
Absolutely.
slap Denver in the face because we're only going to give him the league minimum. Whereas other teams will try to help out Denver. They will pay him more than the minimum because they want to keep good trade relations with the GM over there and Peyton, Sean Payton over there, if they need to make a trade partner for something, right? So you don't spit on people that you're going to trade on by saying, oh, well, it sucks that you guys let him go. We're going to sign him to $1.2 million and let you just pay all the rest. What other teams will do is they'll be like, okay, we're going to pay him 7. And that way it's going to take 6 off of your books or 7 off of your books. And now we need to make this trade over here. So let's do this trade over here, right? Whereas the Raiders, we don't trade with them. So piss on them. 1.2, you pay the rest. And we're going to start him. Even if he's not the starter for the whole season, we will make sure he at least plays 1 snap against Denver.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like AP said, we don't apologize around here. Don't nobody apologize when they do it to us.
Yeah.
Why are we apologizing? We ain't got nothing up, but we're the Raiders. We don't apologize. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 100%, man. So I think it would be good. I think it'd be good. So all hats off, all thanks to my boy Hot Beavers.
We want to be respected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like you can like us later.
Yeah.
You can like us after we won a Super Bowl. But we're going to get that respect.
Yeah.
Going to get that respect. That's the Raider way. You know, you got that moron Michael Lombardi out there talking about what's the Raider way? Compton, silver and black, tough.
Yeah, he's salty, man,
It's
because
like, dude,
Oh, gee.
it's like, dude, did you not watch his press conference when he was named coach? He said the Raider way, playing with pride, all that. Like he broke it down. So what do you mean you don't know what the Raider way is? And why do you keep bringing up this Compton thing? That's you
yeah,
bringing up Compton, not
yeah.
him. He didn't equate that to the Raider way. So
He's biased. He's salty that Al Davis fired his dad, you know, and then Mark Davis fired the son, you know.
yeah,
So hey, it's perfect.
got my boy Chris for Raiders in the house. Hot Beaver looks sleepy. You do look a little tired, brother. You good?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's doing
Yeah.
a lot of Raider research for all you guys out there.
Yes,
and he
sir.
has good research, and he knows his stuff. He knows his stuff, man.
John Harley with Chucky head. Is that a Chucky doll, man? That's scary. Says Lombardi is salty J Cat. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's salty. He just mad because there's no Patriot way except Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel says Lombardi is just mad. Everyone found out he's not related to Vince.
Oh,
True.
man. Yep.
Yes, sir. Jack says Raiders fans are the Raiders way. Been watching since 1974. Man, hats off. Congrats, brother. That's awesome.
Salute to you, man. OG.
Lifelong Raiders fan. First game, Jack says first game was 1975.
Nice.
That'd be awesome, man.
Right on.
This is back there in the old Coliseum. Raiders re-sign Andre James. Brave Raider just announced that. So that must have just broke out just now too. I've been calling that though. I've been saying that we got to re-sign Andre James because it just doesn't make no sense. There's not like a huge it's not like there's a huge replacement for him out there in the free agency. Now, in the draft, you're going to probably draft a center in the 3rd or 4th round and develop him behind Andre James. But I didn't see anything out there in the free agency like, "Oh god, we got to go get that guy over Andre James." It's like, yeah, I know Andre James is not perfect. I know he's a little bit susceptible to the stronger defensive tackles and the bull rush. But other than that, he actually improved quite a bit, especially at the end of the season. So if he can continue, that's good. And the fact that we were able to re-sign him, that helps. That helps. Because it's one less thing that we got to now worry about in the free agency of trying to make a deal with somebody. Nightmare VR is back in the house. Welcome back. Welcome back. Supporter of the channel and the Raider Nation. Jason Marshall says depth is key on the O-line. I agree.
So we need another guard.
We do. I hope it's anybody that's not named Van Roten. Because I know he's gotten some people that have praised him and said he did a good job, but I saw him routinely give up big plays. So I'm not a fan of Van Roten. I think we could definitely do better.
Absolutely. I was just going to say that too. There's better options out there.
Daniel says I would love to sign Onowinu. Didn't they franchise tag him?
Yeah.
Or they franchise tag? I can't remember if they franchise tagged him or
Yeah, I thought he's re-signed.
re-signed or something. That he wasn't going to be on the market.
I want Robert Hunt.
Robert Hunt at guard.
Yeah. He can play some tackle too.
Yeah, he's nice.
Yeah, Christopher Rader says, did not see Van Roten do anything. Yeah, me neither. Except get ran over.
Apparently played really well. So,
Huh? What was that, Hot?
stat wise, he wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad because we were in
Van
max
Roten wasn't too
protect.
bad stat wise. I mean, it was cheap, but we can do better.
Yeah. But that's the kicker though. The stats are deceptive. And they're deceptive because how many times were we in max protect? So he was getting help from the running back, the tight end, all of that stuff. So yeah, the stats are not
Yeah,
accurate because I think we were like top 3 of max protect offense last year. You
yeah,
can't run an offense that way. Like good
no,
offenses are not in max protect. Your 5 have to line up and they have to be able to do their job on their own so that you can get your tight end out into space quickly. And the same thing with your running backs. And that was one of the issues is we would have Devontae Adams easily getting double teamed because you only have 3 receivers out there, only 3 people that can catch the pass. So pretty much you
yeah,
can double team almost all 3 of our receivers on every play. And it really created issues for us to be able to get
yeah,
the ball down the field. So I want to see again, like the people that have been saying that Jermaine Illuminor had a good year. Okay. If you want to count the fact that he was constantly double teaming the edge rushers because we were keeping in Mayer
yeah,
and our other tight end to help him, then sure he had a great year. But how many times when he was on an island out there by himself did he just get ran over? Uh, for example, how many sacks did he give up against Khalil Mack in that game? In the first game, right? He got destroyed by Khalil Mack. And I think I seen the stat on there where we only double teamed Khalil Mack 6% of the snaps, which meant that Jermaine Illuminor was on him predominantly by himself on an island, and he got destroyed. And so you
yeah,
can't do that. You have to have a true right tackle that can hold his own. And we just didn't. He's not that guy. He's not that guy. He's not a bad player. He's a good depth piece. But he's not that guy that's going to be your anchor. Like Colton Miller's our anchor on the left side. So that's why I would love to see, Olu Fashano's not going to drop all the way to the 13, but that would be fantastic if he did. And then I would definitely say we got to take him. But if not, I would love to see Talisi Fuaga, true right tackle.
Oh yeah.
J.C. Latham, true right tackle. These guys are going to be your anchors. They may not be a Pro Bowler year 1 or 2, but give them a couple of years out there, and they're going to be like Colton Miller. Because even Colton Miller, remember when he first came, people were saying he's not it. He's not going to make it. And now he's one of the top left tackles in the NFL.
Did we do? What do you guys think about Munford? Maybe I missed it.
I think Munford is. I think he's going to be good. He certainly improved a lot last year. I was real critical of him at the beginning of the year. I think he improved. I think he's a good piece out there on the line. Obviously, we got him for. I think he's still under contract for 2 more years, 1 or 2 more years. So he's cheap.
Yeah.
I think if you can solidify that right tackle position, obviously now if we're keeping Andre James, he's your starter at center. It's really right guard, and Mumford's good too because Mumford is versatile. He doesn't really excel at one thing, but he's good pretty much all across the line. Like he can fill in at left tackle, center, right tackle, right guard. He's a very versatile dude. He's just not super dominant at any one of those positions. Though when he did fill in for Colton Miller, he did a good job.
I agree.
Yeah.
Scott
I'm
Van,
comfortable with him.
yeah. Scott says bring back Alex Leatherwood.
Oh man.
For what? For what? Like, is he even still in the NFL?
No.
I
I didn't think so. I think because he wherever we cut him, he got re-signed and then got cut again. Yeah.
He went to Chicago and they cut him.
Yeah, they cut him, and I don't think he may be on a practice squad somewhere. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But that was
But
yet again another first round bust. In which first round busts happen. It's the draft is not a guarantee. You pick a guy at number 1 and it could be a bust. But when the Raiders have had as many first round busts as we've had over the past 10 years, that's when you're just like, come on, man. You know why the Chiefs won besides the fact
yeah,
that
but it shouldn't be so obvious.
yeah, the Chiefs continue to win, not just because of Patrick Mahomes, but I'll give them, the organization, one piece of credit, which is they draft very well. They can't afford not to draft very well because they're paying Patrick Mahomes the house, and now they're paying Chris Jones the other half of the house, right? So Patrick's got the left wing of the mansion, and Chris Jones got the right wing of the mansion. So you better draft well because you don't have money in free agency to go out there and get guys, and they do it. They do it really well, and that's why I love having Tom Telesco here, because despite whatever anybody want to say about Tom Telesco with some of the free agency debacles he's had over there in LA, one thing nobody says about him is that he's poor drafting. He's been very good at drafting. He's missed on some drafts. All GMs do, but he's much more consistent in hitting on those draft picks than missing on them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really important because you kind of know, like with John Gruden, he was terrible at drafting. Terrible.
Him and Mayock, man.
Well, and here's the deal. Like, we haven't had a true experienced GM since Al Davis died.
Yeah.
All of them were rookies. None of them had ever been a true
really
GM.
though?
And then you look at, like, for example, John Gruden was in charge of all the drafting because he was a savant. He was a guru. He knew everything. But it came out that their whole scouting division was in complete and utter disarray because of John Gruden and the way he ran things. John Gruden was this guy. Hello, Alex Leatherwood. How are you doing?
Hey, man.
You want to be a Raider? Yeah? Well, we're going to draft you. I got a feeling.
Come on down here, man. Spider 2-eye banana.
Like, that was it. And so Tom Telesco, when he broke it down, like, he let it slip out that was the problem with the Raiders. That even Champ Kelly, when he came, he was assigned the job of fixing all of that brokenness that was the Raiders draft team, all of their scouts and coaches and stuff. And they were in the process of fixing that. And then when Tom got here, he was like, that's my thing. He's like, I don't draft guys based on a gut feeling or a 10-minute phone call. We do meticulous work before we ever get to the draft, because we don't want surprises. So we're going through their medicals. We're going through all their game tape. We're going through their history, their social media, everything. We do not want surprises. We're going to have a book on each one of these players and a lot of conversations, thousands of hours of conversations to figure out our draft board before we ever even hit the draft. And then we're not going to change based on a gut feeling. We go with the numbers. And that's why he hits more. It's a numbers game. So yeah, I know you got to run, brother. And we're actually a little bit over. Our lives are usually only an hour long now. So we are going to wrap it up today. And if you have not hit that subscribe button and you're new to the channel, or you've been here a whole bunch of times, dude, you got to hit the subscribe. Go and follow and subscribe to my boys that are regulars on the channel. Western Conference, Hot Beavers, hat off to you guys for joining me on a Sunday, and
Thank
can't
you,
wait to
brother.
have you guys
Pleasure,
back
man.
on.
Pleasure. Thank
Love
you.
watching your channels grow and the content that's coming out, and for sure, let's do it again. And guys, if you have not considered becoming a member of the Raider D family, the link is in the description so that you can hit the link or you can scan it if you're watching us on TV and join and get all those perks. And then one last thing before we go, make sure that you guys send me an email over at raiderdpodcast@gmail.com if you want to get on our free newsletter. We will never sell your information to scumbag corporations that like buying your emails because we actually love the Raider Nation. With that, guys, salute to the Raiders. You know how we end this each and every single time. Say it with me. Raiders just win.